Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet the great Brynlea Taylor Lee. She's an influencer, she's a philanthropist, she's a friend, and she's going to be talking about faith, family, and serving others. Next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, there's an old saying that there's 2 most important days in your life, the day you were born and the day you find out why you were born. And my next guest is Brynlea Taylor Lee. She's an influencer, she's a philanthropist, and she found her purpose. It's faith, family, and serving others.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on my show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your journey. So born and raised where?
Born in Alabama, ended up moving to Texas when I was like 12 or 13, and then went to Texas Tech on a full ride. So I've stayed. I'm a Texan. That's
and faith is a big part of your life.
It is.
Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was raised in a Christian family, both sides. Couldn't get away with anything because I had a lot of ministers on both sides of my family. So I really didn't have a choice. But yeah, just growing up in the church and just establishing kind of those habits of keeping God first and going to church, even, in college when people fall off. So and ever since then, yeah, I've been in the choir for years at Prestonwood, and then now I sing at First Baptist Dallas and on the frontline praise team. So
no kidding,
it's
that's
fun.
Really cool.
Yes.
All right, tell me about family.
Oh my gosh, I have the best family. My mom, Robin, and my dad, Jim, they're divorced, but they still, oh my gosh, it's just a blessing to have, such great, strong, Christian, giving families on both sides. So yeah, love my family, my sister. So Ryan, we're not even a year apart. So
wow,
yeah,
that's beautiful. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the influencer side of your life, and we're going to pull up your Instagram page because there's some great images on this. And as we scroll down Instagram, tell us, how did you become an influencer?
Oh my gosh. So I'm showing my age, but I was a high school teacher for 10 years. I taught middle school and then high school. And when you're around kids all the time, you just need something for yourself.
Sure.
So when I was a teacher, I started posting my teacher outfits of the day. And this was before the OOTD. And yeah, there was like a website called Blogspot. And then Instagram was introduced. And so you had these little, templates.
Yeah.
And, I started posting. And then, before Instagram really blew up, I've always had a passion for, small businesses. And I always like to have genuine feedback about products. Like I'm a girl and I love skincare. I love makeup. And then when I got to about 2020 is when brands started sending me products. And the one thing I said is, look, if I don't like the product, I'm either going to say so or I'm not going to post it. And I think that's what they really loved. And, my audience knows that I'm going to tell the truth because, on social media, people are saying whatever they are being paid to say. Right. And so I love to give recommendations and support businesses that I love.
I love that. Okay, so we're going to pull up some video, and I think this came from your Instagram as well. But why don't you kind of narrate this for us? So this is you reviewing?
Just random things like that's my Holy Grail lip oil by Winky Lux. This is a package that was sent to me. And so I just get to open it, and I like to put it on in real time.
Yeah.
So I have no filter, as I've told you. So the first impression that comes to mind is going to be on there. And then I'll just link products, for my audience to click on. And
I mean, is it fun?
it's so much fun.
You get great feedback, I'm sure.
Such good feedback. And like, I'm a very small influencer in the influencer world, right? I mean, I'm like a micro now. But yeah, I have a blast, and I love connecting with people. I have met some of the most amazing people. I even have what I would call like Instagram friends. We've never met in person, but so encouraging. So yeah, I don't take it too seriously, right? But I do love doing the
I think that's wonderful.
influencing. Yeah.
And we mentioned off the top of the show that you're a philanthropist. Victoria and I just saw you at an event that you chaired.
So glad that y'all were there.
Yeah, so tell us, this is a cause near and dear to your heart, multiple sclerosis.
Yes. Yeah. So my grandma had MS. And growing up, I thought I saw her walking, but with a walker. So I never saw my grandma walking, on her own. And then her MS progressed to the point where she was in a motorized wheelchair, which is actually really cool for kids because when she wasn't in it, we were driving around on it.
That's right.
But, watching my grandpa, I mean, if you ever want to see like an example of a loyal, loving, selfless husband, my grandpa Moses was that. And with MS, it varies. Like I work out, I used to work out at a gym with a girl, and she did kind of bodybuilding. And for years, I had no clue she had MS. Whereas my grandma, she could not go to the bathroom on her own. She couldn't walk, right? She was very limited. But the thing about my grandma is she never complained. Like in the health complications and things that come with MS, I never saw her complain. And I mean, she would be in the hospital and like doctors and nurses, you heard my speech, would come out and they're like, how is a woman in this position, and reliant on others? How is she just so happy? And when she passed away, a lot of people have sad memories or sad feelings, but because she never complained and she just, gave God all the glory for all the blessings, her sense of humor, if you, been with someone in a wheelchair, they get stared at. And my grandma was a great Christian woman, but watching her stick her tongue out at people or making faces at people, she just laughed all the time. So when she passed away, it was just, okay, like I'll see you again. But yeah, she was just such an inspiration. She always did her makeup. She always laid out her outfit and jewelry. And that's actually how she passed away, getting ready for church, which was really neat. But yeah, watching her struggle and not make it look like a struggle. And the one big thing that, I hated watching is her feeling like a burden. The older I got, I'm like, oh, I would be so humiliated, right? To have to be bathed and, lifted and put on a, portable toilet. So the older I got, like just putting myself in her shoes, is really what led me to want to do something.
Brynlea, we're going to put up a slideshow of this amazing event because it was at the Dallas Athletic Club, which is where you were married.
Yes.
So talk about the event, talk about how much you raised, talk about the feeling.
Yeah. I mean, so it took about a year of planning. And like charity events are very big in Dallas. But what I wanted is to make this different. I didn't want it to be one of those where people come and, to be seen and photographed and meet celebrities. I really wanted people that wanted to be there. And we did, Texans love a Western theme. So we did a Western theme, give MS the boot. And we just wanted to keep it very kind of like my values, focused on, family and friends and giving back to the community. And I think we achieved that, you know.
And you guys raised a lot of money.
We did, yeah. That night we raised almost $290,000. So that was, yeah. And the great thing about MS Society is you can see the results of the giving. You know, it's sometimes you support charities over and over and you don't see advancements. But with MS, like the medical advancements that have happened just in the last 10 years, I always think, man, if my grandma, you know, had been diagnosed, you know, with MS now, she would probably still be walking. So, yeah, it's a great cause, and that's why I do it.
Well, and it was very special. And Victoria and I get invited out to a lot of different galas, but you know, you had a family-style dinner, which I thought was really cool. And then maybe the highlight of the night is you asked people to hold hands and say grace together. That is really cool.
My husband was like, I mean, it was spur of the moment. I didn't know he was going to do it. But when he did that, I think the energy in the room just stayed that way. You know, people were just, you know, meeting others, you know, opening their hearts to give, talking to the guests at their table that they may not have known. But I got a lot of feedback, you know, from you guys and a lot of people that they just loved it. And we didn't do it in a way that, you know, we were pushing our faith on people, but just, you know, holding hands in a circle and we're all coming together for a cause. Yeah, I was proud of him. I loved looking out and seeing it. Yeah.
Okay, we have about a minute left. So maybe talk to the person out there who's drifting. They're kind of lost. And you know, true north is what you described, faith, family, and serving others. How do you get back to true north?
Man, you know, sometimes it's putting someone else, you know, you look at someone else's life or struggles, and then you can take a look and find the blessings in your life. I think that, you know, if you're kind of wondering, just stop and count your blessings. I know that is so cliche, but stop and count your blessings, because I can guarantee you're probably more blessed than you think. And then maybe start thanking people for those blessings, or simply just thank you, God, for what you've given me, you know, and, you know, asking God to, you know, help find your purpose. So serving others can bring a lot of joy too.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your faith and your spirit with us. We're going to end with her Instagram page so you can follow her and the great Brynlea Taylor Lee. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.